Welcome back to Incremental Factory. We are going to work on Gen 5 chips, the white ones today. We finished digging down to level 28 last episode. That unlocked cobalt. So that gives us the ability to finish this production chain. We have generation 1 chips here, generation 2 here, 3 up here, 4 over here, so we might as well do 5 right here. I've got this parcel started here. We're going to work for, I think we're just going to go with an arbitrary number of 16 Gen 5 chips to start with per second. We need a whole bunch of connections. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 connections. So we're going to just do, I don't know if we can do 16, no we can't. So let's do 8 Gen 1 chip or Gen 5 chips per parcel. The metal gates, 16 of them, will require 16 high K, a whole bunch of titanium and cobalt plates. So high K, we have actually a setup down here. This is actually producing 32 high K, but we will just copy it anyway, and that way we'll have ready for expansion when we're ready for it. That's going to be a super expensive copy, 1.6 million stone. Most of my yields are at the 60% range, the minimum amount. I'm going to go ahead and chance the excavation here. Hopefully I don't regret it because it'll take forever to rebuild this. But this will give us an extra 10% up to 70%. So let's go ahead and try it and see. I put a whole bunch of blue up here to hopefully slow these top ones down so these turrets can focus on the bottom ones first, and then, but in the end it seems like they all end up approaching at once anyway. But let's go ahead and give it a go. Got a lot of these big guys. There we go, 70% minimum yield. So the next one is yield increase of 200%. That's just a temporary gain. So that gives us up to 70%. We'll be happy with that for now. So next up is titanium. Titanium plates, we need a whole bunch of them. We need 16 per metal gate. We're trying to do 16, so that is going to be a whole bunch of them. 8 parcels full of metal gates or titanium plates. Titanium smelter, let's do 32 of them. And actually we can't do that because we need 4 connections. We're going to be stuck with 24. This bottom one here is the titanium setup. 3 titanium, 2 coal, 1 oxygen. And this is cobalt, something similar to cobalt, 2 coal, 1 oxygen. We're going to need 11 each of these setups. So 11 of these, 11 of these. That'll supply the necessary 16 times 16. It's like 256 plates to get the metal gates up and running. So I'm going to take some time and copy these up. There is titanium on the bottom, cobalt on the top. I had to throw in an extra node on the top here just because these needed a little extra than 2 parcels could provide, but it wasn't worth adding a 3rd parcel to each one of these. So I just put one up here and put a node down here and just delivered it to each one of these. So that gives us enough to make 16 cobalt plates. This is getting quite huge. This is just metal gates right here. We have 5 more ingredients to build for these yellow or white science, not white science, white Gen 5 chips. So let's look at the next ingredient. The next one is Gen 5 chips here. We need 5 high-grade copper cables. We're trying to do 16 of these, so that would be 80. So I have a quick setup up here. This is going to be, we'll figure out the numbers in a second, but this is going to be copper, miner. That'll go into its own node because there's going to be a lot of copper. This is going to be coal. And this can share a node with the oxygen, which is right here. Because I don't think there'll be as much of this That is oxygen. And this node will come into here. It'll be copper ore. This will be coal. This will be oxygen. And this will be producing high-grade copper plates. Right here, high-grade smelter, copper ore, coal, and oxygen. As you can see, it requires 10 copper ore per plate. And we need 80 of these. We need 80 cables. So that would be 40 of these machines, so we need 40 plates. So that's going to be 400 copper ore. So we can go ahead and, I think we're going to need 40 of these, we said, so let's do 20 and 20. We'll do another one up here of 20. This will go down to here. Copper plates. This will go to here, and this will be the high-grade copper cables. We need 80 of these, so that's going to be 2.5 full parcels of these because we can only transport 32 per second. I will figure out the numbers in a second, but I think this is, we're not going to be able to do 16 at most out of here. Because that'll be 32 unless we do this 2-node thing, which we might do. But that'll be high-grade copper cables. Let me get the ratio set up and I'll come back. And there it is. We have copper being mined over here, some coal, some oxygen. It goes into nodes. This node goes to this one, this node goes to this one. Each one of these are making 20 plates, so a total of 40 plates coming in here, which makes 80 copper cables. This one parcel right here actually has 32 in it, so that produces 64 cables. So I have the 2 nodes separated so we can handle the throughput. And this one just has 8 in it. That's why it's a little bit bigger, because it's got more connections. So all we have to do now is drag these over to, actually let's just drag these 2 buildings up. That is copper cables being made. Next up is heat sinks. So let's take a look at heat sinks. Heat sinks require copper plates, more copper plates, yay, and 3 aluminum. Heat sinks, we're going to need 48 of them. That is 12 machines. 12 machines mean 24 copper plates and 36 aluminum. So let's do the copper plates. We have a setup already. It's making 20 copper plates right here. So we can just copy this up to here and use that as a starter. We'll need coal and oxygen. And we'll have to bump these up a little bit because this is only 20 and we need 24. Okay, here's our setup for heat sinks. We have copper plates being made here, aluminum being made here, the oxygen coal is being split both ways. Might as well make use of it. And we have some 3 bauxite miners up there. Those go into the heat sinks. Again, this is making, I think, 48 heat sinks, so we have to split it between the nodes just to get it to do the throughput. Let's grab these up here, connect these into these. And check what's next. AP material is next. We need 32 AP material. So AP material is more copper plates, phenolic resin, and quartz. So we have phenolic resin set up already, so I'll just have to copy that up. I'm beginning to think we should have done a copper plate facility because a lot of this stuff requires copper plates, but I don't know, it'd be hard to ratio out that way. So let's get AP materials set up. 20 copper plates. This is making 24, I believe. It's 20. I think actually we need 16. But I'm just going to grab a portion of this, copy this up. It'll be copper plates. We'll adjust that in a second. We're also going to need a ginormous copy of this right here, phenolic resin. This is 32, which is, I believe, what we need. So let's copy that. That's going to require 1.1 million stone, or 1.1 million bricks. So that is going to take some time to copy. Finished copying. We actually needed a second set of copper plates, so that is 2 sets of them, making 32 copper plates. And I just threw a quartz miner in the center here, just that's all that's needed for these two. So that gets AP material up and running. Let's grab these, drag them over, hook up the AP material to them. And next up is nanowires. Nanowires, we're going to need 32 of them. Nanowires require hafnium, silicone, oxygen, and graphene. All that stuff we've done before, so I'm going to go find it in the factory, copy it over, and we'll ratio it out once we copy it over. So we're making hafnium over here just for the warehouse. We don't need quite this much. This is like, I don't know, 72. We just need about half of that. So let's just grab a chunk of it. Let's grab that. And we will adjust it once we get over there. Add the oxygen back in and adjust it to what we need. Alright, so that's hafnium. Let's look at the next one, which I believe is silicone germanium. We need 32 of that, so let's go find that in our factory. This is down in the yellow chip production, Gen 4 chips. We have silicone germanium right here. This is making only 16, so we need two of these, so we'll just copy it twice. There is one, there is two. We'd probably consolidate this into one factory, but it's already set up, so let's just copy it and go with it. So that is silicone germanium into the nanowires. There, down to there. What is next? This is just nanowires. I forgot where we were at for a minute. So next on the nanowires is oxygen and graphene. We'll need 32 oxygen and 48 graphene. Here is graphene in the purple chip factory. This is making a lot more than we need. This is making 64 graphene. We only need 48. So we'll just copy it and alter it to fit. Let's just grab this section of it. Find where we're at here. We're way up here. Nanowires into the Gen 5 chip factory. Last up is germanium sulfide. We have not made that before, but I was doing the math on it. I'll walk you through it. It sounds quite crazy. So we need 16 times 3, so 48 germanium sulfide. Doesn't sound too bad, right? 48 germanium sulfide requires 2 germanium, so that would be 96 germanium that we need. Still not too bad, doesn't sound too crazy. Germanium up here. This produces 0.2. So if we need 96 germanium, we need 96 times 5, which is 480 germanium refineries. 480. That is going to be like, gosh, I don't even know, like 23 parcels full of germanium refineries. So that's going to be quite a setup. I hope I'm doing my math right, because that just sounds ludicrous, but we will go with it. And then we need, so that 480 germanium refineries is going to require 96 coal ash, which means we're going to need 192 coal combustors, which means we're going to need 768 coal. So those numbers sound ginormous. I'm going to do the math one more time before I start building this, but it appears this 0.2 germanium, and I do need 96 germanium sulfide, so that's just going to be a huge setup. This is the germanium sulfide plant 24, so that would be 48 of them. We need germanium for that, so this let's just hook this up. So this is going to be germanium. I guess we'll wait to do it till we got it set up here. So this is germanium. This is 32 germanium refineries right here. It generates 6.4 maximum. So we will need 15 parcels to make the 96 required. So let's just draw this connection here so that we have it set up. We can draw this over to here. So that is germanium. And we will just start copying this up. Alright, that's 15 of them. I stretched this out so we could see the numbers. Next we'll need a production parcel. We need to supply this with coal ash, so that's going to be the coal combustor. We're going to max this out. It'll provide 16. We'll need 6 of these, but let's connect it up first that when we copy it, it transfers. And actually we're going to need to do another node. That way we can just, because this hooks up to 15 of them. Now we can copy this up 6 times. That is 6 coal ash parcels full, so 192 coal combustors. That's going to require 768 coal, which is 23 full parcels. We're going to do 24 just to make it even, so we will do 12 down here and 12 up here. But in order to speed it along, we will do 1 coal miner maxed out, 33.6. Drag that over to here. Coal. We can drag that over to here too, I guess. That way we can copy this. We'll need 12 of them, and then another 12 up here. That is 12. We can just copy this. Put it over there, and stretch out the coal. And that should be coal, ash, germanium. So now we need sulfur. Sulfur is going to be 48 sulfur plants, which is 48 oil or petroleum barrels, which is 480 oil. So 15 full parcels of oil. Just copy this over. We're going to do two nodes of this. That way, because this will be 480 oil and we can't transport that between nodes yet. Copy this up. This production parcel right here will be 24 oil refineries. That'll make petroleum barrels, 24 of them. We will copy that down, bring the oil in, and then that needs to go to a sulfur plant. We need 48 sulfur plants. That would make 96 sulfur. So 96 sulfur we can actually do. We can do 24 and 24, and then we'll do the double node thing. Okay, that was 96 sulfur being made. We can drag this over to the germanium sulfide plants. That's 48 and 48. That is going to transfer germanium sulfide to this node, and we're actually going to try to drag it backwards. Actually, we have to drag it over here for just to hook it up. Let's grab this over to here as germanium sulfide. And that should be Gen 5 chips being made finally. There we go, 400 of them. So this is a little confusing with the germanium sulfide coming in from the backwards. But I don't know, we'll just have to remember that's there. That is Gen 5 chips. Gen 5 chips. We just gotta get these onto the bus into the warehouse, and then we can see if I'll see if we have time to look at white science. White science is, actually it's not, because we have to launch rockets. So this is just going to be Gen 5 chips. So I will get these into the warehouse, and then we will next episode work on getting the rockets up and running so that we can launch them. So that's going to do it. Thanks for watching.